Hello everyone.
Hello.
Here we are the group which worked on Confront Culture on the project Culture Business Dinner Party. And our group, me, I'm the coordinator, Doria Giraneza, and here it is Haisa and Benin. So we worked on different cultures which included the Indian culture, the Japanese, and also the Pennsylvanian, and so on. So each one is going to take time to explain how each culture and each food menu works, and also describe about the subculture she worked on, and also tell us some commonalities and differences found in all those cultures the person has worked on. So I welcome Benin to tell us about the cultures she worked on.
Thank you. Let me start with king portrait. This was for Indian people from Eastern Coast. So here it was a ceremony which described all the events, birth or death, and also weddings. So the owner of that region was supposed to provide that ceremony or to prepare for the ceremony, so as to invite some guests and then give them food. So the main food that were used there was seal meat or fish, because in that country they have many sea levels and other lakes. So that time they were supposed to provide enough food so that they will get ill. They will eat to the extent that they become ill. Also, at that time they were supposed to provide enough food so that they will provide some food they will bring home. They will give others who did not come. Also, in that time, there is the other menu, which was tailgate. It was for Americans. That time they were that ceremony was for fun or football. They prepared that event for supporting a team or other people who are in the same fan club. So at that time they were using food, eat food, some snacks, and also rice and other foods, meat, and also alcohol beverage. That time everyone was supposed to bring his or her own food so that they can share. So some communities that was in that culture business dinner was that they both used some dishes, but for for portrait they used dishes like spoons and other dishes. But the before but when it is not the ceremony, they were using some wooden spoons and horns. So there's some communities was that they both used dishes during that ceremony, and they also his aim was to have fun. So that's it. And also about the field work, the field research that I made was Zina for our country, where they were supposed to give a name for the newborn, and also the main purpose of that was to welcome a newborn, as I said. So that time the grandchildren were supposed to suggest the different names so that they will pick up one to give baby one. So thank you. That was what I worked on.
Benin, I was wondering, in the second culture we talked about, like all the fans who came to assist the match, everyone was supposed to bring different kind of snacks they
Yeah,
wanted.
everyone was supposed to bring different kinds of snacks. They didn't suggest the main food that they bring, so which food were allowed.
So uh, me, I worked on the Hawaiian poi. This is a kind of food which is specifically found in the Hawaii Islands. So this Hawaiian poi is made by the taro root. The taro root is a kind of like plant, but the eaten part is found from the root, and this is like very important in their culture because the the Hawaiian people believe that this taro root gave birth to their ancestor, the first person in the Hawaii island. So it's very important for them. and like it's irreplaceable in their meals, in their culture, and in their spirituality. And this plant, or yeah, is very important in their life because like it's the taro is also the same as family in their language, so you feel like it is very important in their culture, this plant. So this Hawaiian poi is made by boiling this taro root, and then like on a lower degree you could just take it from, if it's boiled to a lower degree it could be taken as dessert, but if they like boil it for a longer time period, it's then mashed and make a paste, then they eat it with other foods as another meal. And also the other food I worked on is the Japanese rice. So in Japan, rice is like in the same way that poi like or taro root is important in the Hawaiian culture. Like Japan, rice is also as important because like every meal of the day, like we say breakfast, lunch, or dinner, everything in Japan's meal is like there is rice at the end of that word. So the rice is called don, like each food of the day is called at the end there is don. For instance, um, I find that for all foods, or breakfast is called asagohan, then lunch hirogohan, and then dinner bangohan. Like their meals could not lack rice. uh, some things or some rituals which included the Japanese rice is that like the when they were about to put to enthrone a king, like the priest or someone involved in the spirituality was supposed to bring sake, which was rice wine, and it could be used in the like in those rituals of enthroning the king. Something else is that like rice in Japan is not used only for eating. They use it to manufacture vinegar, sake, which also is the wine, and mirin, which is also a sweet alcoholic drink used in cooking. They use it for making traditional rice cakes and so on. About the subculture I worked on, it was called Umuganura. This is the cultural harvest. Like Umuganura was a time when farmers used to gather their harvest together. They were celebrating like the harvest they have got. They were like celebrating of the success from their plants. So this in the pre-colonial era, because there was like in the times of kings and kingdoms, like you were supposed to give us a share to the king, and also like the king could also like make a kind of division to the other people who did not get the same chance as you of harvesting more. But in these times, the Umuganura culture did not go extinct with the kingdom or what. But these days it's for celebrating like all the success got in any field or sector, maybe technology, maybe tourism, like whichever sector has developed. People sit down, they say we have got this, we have got that, and then they like reflect on how they will also do better in the future, and then share some drinks and food. So the drinks and food shared are the kind of food which are cultural, the staple foods of Rwanda, which are like maize, sorghum, milk, like the sorghum beer, the milk. So all of that is shared between the people while reflecting and celebrating on those like advantages they got from what they do in their daily lives.
So, Daria, you talked about Muganura, so I have a question. So, was it for all people who have some products, or for all, even those who did not cultivate?
No, like because before it were farmers, like farmers were the ones to like not only farmers celebrated Muganura, but like even the others celebrated, but the ones who were supposed to give away things were the ones who have harvested. Like you could understand that you could not like give away what you do not have. So, but this also reminds me of like identifying some differences between all those cultures I have worked on. Like you could understand that in the Hawaiian culture, the staple food or the main food there is the taro root. But for the Japanese, it is rice. And then in Rwanda, it's maize and sorghum. And also, I could relate this with the anthropology culture because, like, to make all this research, it requires cultural relativity. This is the fact of not being biased, like working on each culture with your own integrity and not like judging this culture because of this one. So each person making a research should make sure to not base on this, like feel like you're an independent person, like you are reviewing each culture as a person who does not his or her own. This helps you not to judge what others do.
Thank you. Raisa, and I worked on Hindu wedding food, Pennsylvania and Dutch cuisine, and another subculture called Utkikurula. So, in Hindu wedding food, I refer to the articles named The Essential Guide to Hindu Wedding Food and Dessert, and also I refer to the food rituals in Hindu weddings. So, in Hindu weddings, foods are the main part of Hindu weddings. Like in North Indian Hindu, they mostly use the dishes like cream, like those meat and stuffs. Because but in Southern Hindu weddings, they use they add those fishes and those aquatic animals because they live near the coast of Indian Ocean. Another thing is that in Southern Hindu, they use they are mostly vegetarians. That's why they use like bananas and those dosa and those also other vegetables. So another thing is that in Indian weddings, the food has their own symbols. Like they use coconuts. Those coconuts are considered as the symbol of prosperity. It is given to the groom by the bride and the father of the bride, so that it means that this marriage is a blessing. They wanted to mean that the marriage is a blessing. So also they use the mixture of cumin seeds and brown sugar. This cumin seed and brown sugar, it is placed in the betel leaf. So it means the sweetness and the bitterness of life. So it's a symbol that shows that even if marriage is a good thing, it also may also face something bad in life. So another thing is that they use rice. This rice represents the sustenance. Like those lights, they spread the lights over the bride and the groom, and it's like it acts as a blessing to the couples. When I go to the Pennsylvania's Dutch cuisine, this cuisine is a classic and traditional food in Pennsylvanian Dutch because it reflects on the influence of German cuisine. So most of the time in Pennsylvanian cuisine, they most of the time use their local and natural ingredients. Yeah, ingredients. So they also used both sweet and sour ingredients in the meal because they think that it makes the balance in flavor. Like for example, there are the main dishes in Pennsylvanian cuisine. There is kitchen pot pie. There is also spaghettis. Also, there is what they call hamburgers. There is also what they call Schinsnep. There's also other side dishes where there are red beet eggs. They take eggs and they mix it with beet juice and they have the color of red. There's another called chicken corn soup. Another one is called apple butter. And in the desserts they use whoopie pies, like there are those two cookies where the inside there is the cream. Yeah. Another thing is shurai pie. where they made it in molasses bottom and topped with a plastic crumb like a chocolate cream. So another thing is apple dumplings, where they use the apple in making those donuts. Okay. On the side subculture, I worked on Gutwikurura. Gutwikurura is a cultural ceremony in Rwanda that takes place as the final part of marriage series. It is practiced for the sake of the bride to be relieved from the world or be exposed in the outside world. So during the ceremony, the bride's family is supposed to visit the bride in the new home, and this acts as many traditional Rwandan food. They use many traditional Rwandan food like local beer, urwarwa, which is made in sorghum, and this is used to it is given to the visitors as the sign of welcoming them. Yeah. Another thing is they use this milk. The milk is food which have a high symbol in Rwandan culture because it is used as the sign of respect and the sign of wealth. Yeah. Then it is given to the young, to the children in this ceremony as the way of welcoming them. Another thing is umutsima and or sorghum ugari. This is made by the bride's sister-in-law and the bride and the bride's sister-in-law. So it is served to the visitors as the sign of kindness and wealth and the welcoming them in a new home. So after making this research, I found that the difference in these cultures is that in Hindu, even though they have the same common culture, but they have different, they use different food considered to the place they live in, like the coastal Hindu, like southern Hindu and northern Hindu. But in Pennsylvania and Dutch cuisine, they all use same common food menu. But in Rwanda also, it is different because they have different those types of food. Like they use urwarwa and amata and those kind of stuff. They are different from Hindu and Pennsylvania. But when I look to the similarity is that all those foods used in either in Hindu, either in Pennsylvania, and either in Rwanda, they have the symbolic meaning. That's why that means that food and culture have the symbolic meaning to the culture of the countries. Thank you very much.
So this is the end of our video. We hope you have enjoyed it and you have understood the main concepts of cultural anthropology, which is related to food. So thank you.